After the judgment of the waters, when the roar of the flood ceased and the earth fell silent, the survivors came out of the ark with fear and hope. Noah, the righteous man, stepped onto a new and wet world, his gaze fixed on the firmament. His 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, were the heralds of the future. Humanity had been restarted, but human nature remained unchanged. From Ham was born Cush, and from Cush was born Nimrod, a name that would soon echo throughout the earth. From a very young age, Nimrod stood out. He possessed an intense gaze, a voice that commanded multitudes, and an ambition that burned like fire in his veins. He was not content to be a shepherd or a farmer. He chose another path, hunting. From youth, Nimrod demonstrated exceptional skills. He was agile, lethal, and cunning. He moved through the trees like an invisible predator. With firmness and a penetrating gaze, he faced the most terrifying beasts of the post-Diluvian world. In an era when nature was still untamed and dangerous, Nimrod became a legend. It was said that there was no beast he could not strike down, that his bow never missed its mark, and that the roars of lions ceased before his presence. Having achieved renown, Nimrod was not satisfied with being just a hunter. His fame grew, his presence commanded respect, and his ambition knew no bounds. In a time when humanity wandered, facing natural dangers and the constant threat of beasts, Nimrod conceived a revolutionary idea. Why live scattered and vulnerable when they could organize themselves? Why fight individually against the beasts when they could raise walls, found cities, and ensure protection? And why not go further? Why not unite these cities under a single government? Why not establish a kingdom and become king? With cunning, influence, and power, Nimrod became the first great sovereign, a leader of humanity. He was not just the skillful hunter described in Genesis, but a strategic visionary thirsty for power. A leader who not only wished to organize the people, but to unify the world under a human government independent of the Creator. Thus, he founded the first kingdom in biblical history, and with it, the first system of collective rebellion against God. Genesis 10:10 declares, "The beginning of his kingdom was Babel, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh in the land of Shinar." This passage encapsulates a monumental truth. Politics, the city, the empire, and false religion originated in the same place and under the same figure, Nimrod. But he was not satisfied. His thirst for power was insatiable. After consolidating his dominion in Shinar, he turned north to the Assyrian plateaus beyond the rivers. With arrogance and the banner of his empire in the wind, he gathered a colossal army and a vast cavalry that made the earth tremble. Thousands of horses swept the valley, each warrior displaying the emblem of Nimrod, the invincible. With violence, he swept the Assyrian lands. Villages succumbed and peoples fell before him. Then, he built a new city in the north, a fortress that would be his next bastion, Nineveh. Nimrod founded it as a testament to his conquest, a jewel in his empire. Nineveh was not just a military city, it was a declaration. Nimrod knew no limits. He considered himself invincible, untouchable, a demigod. His word was law. His presence inspired fear, and his ambition seemed infinite. In Nineveh, his name was a battle cry, and the priests revered him as a celestial emissary. Nimrod's kingdom encompassed the region of present-day Iraq, Mesopotamia, a land of ancient rivers and fertile valleys. Where Eden had once flourished, a system of spiritual arrogance now stood. After consolidating his power as the great hunter and leader of the tribes, Nimrod advanced towards his true ambition, to build a world empire apart from God. It was not just about gathering people, but about establishing an order, a system, an earthly kingdom. For this, he needed 2 pillars, an imposing capital, a strategic point of government, and a symbol. Thus, he began to build Babel in the land of Shinar. But Nimrod knew that walls and streets were not enough. He needed a monument that would unite emotions, pride, and rebellion against God. Thus was born the vision of the Tower of Babel, a tower that would proclaim to the world the human capacity to reach the heights without divine aid, a city that would witness his glory. To carry out the construction of the tower, the men of Shinar faced an obstacle, the lack of stone. Unlike other regions, Shinar was a fertile plain, but without rocks for a colossal structure. Nimrod then proposed, "Come, let us make bricks and burn them thoroughly." And multitudes obeyed. They built gigantic kilns, molded and burned the clay. The bricks emerged red like the earth, declarations of rebellion. But they needed mortar. Nimrod ordered the use of bitumen, natural asphalt that surfaced in the region. With shovels and ropes, they collected the bitumen to join the bricks. It was resistant, perfect for an eternal structure. The tower began to rise. The city roared. Smoke covered the sky. Nimrod watched with satisfaction, his face reflecting pride and control. The tower grew, brick by brick. Men died, but the project continued. The heat was unbearable, but Nimrod's vision had become a collective obsession. They molded clay, laid bricks, carried bitumen, and the tower stood high defiant. It was said that it would reach the heavens. They believed that the name of Babel would be eternal, that humanity would be like God. And the higher the tower rose, the more the fear of God diminished. Prayer ceased, the Creator was forgotten. The only glory that mattered was that of man. Nimrod contemplated each brick as a jewel, with the madness of one who believes he has conquered paradise. But the eternal God watched with gravity. It was not just a tower, it was the symbol of a humanity that no longer loved him. United by a language and by pride, men organized themselves to usurp his place. God came down and said, "Indeed, the people are one and they all have one language, and this is what they begin to do. Now nothing that they propose to do will be withheld from them." Unity had allowed a dangerous ambition. Nothing seemed impossible to them, for their hearts were corrupted. The judgment of the flood had purified the earth, but the human heart remained polluted, manifesting itself in a global project of rebellion. God could not ignore it, not out of fear but out of love, for allowing such madness would lead humanity to the abyss. Then God said, "Come, let us go down and there confuse their language, that they may not understand one another's speech." And, with a divine act, language was broken. A supervisor gave an order, but the worker replied with unintelligible sounds. Confusion set in. Men shouted, pointed, pushed each other. A boy spoke to his father, who looked at him as a stranger. Mothers looked for their children, shouting names without response. Commerce stopped, music died, priests fought. The city turned into chaos. From the top of the tower, Nimrod saw everything collapse. His pride slipped through his fingers. He shouted orders that no one understood. He descended the tower, no longer a king, just a man. He saw the ruin, the blood, the despair. He cried out to his god, Marduk, but received only silence. He fell to his knees, wept, shouted, but the heavens did not answer. After the storm of confusion, exhaustion came. The city was in ruins. But something unexpected happened. One man asked for bread, and another understood him. A spark of hope ignited. Small groups united by language began to form. They held hands and marched towards the unknown. Some went south, originating the Arab peoples. Others followed the rivers, founding the civilizations of Mesopotamia and Asia. Others sailed, reaching Oceania, America, and Africa. Others went north, giving rise to the European peoples. Each group carried their words and the memory of the tower. Babel became legend, and thus nations were born, not by conquest, but by divine purpose. God confused the languages but never abandoned his plan. The echo of Babel lives in every language, reminding that where pride destroyed, God's mercy dispersed to start over. SS.